Hello and welcome back to the Gunnaz podcast. And in this episode, Dylan and I will be going through 5 things we learned in the Let's Be Honest podcast featuring
one and only Liam Bailey today.
Yeah.
Well, go on.
But the national team, for example, is just we don't choose the right players. Nobody not really stay at it. Nobody not stay in a hotel.
So did anybody stay at the hotel, or was it only you that didn't stay at the
Listen,
hotel?
I know that me never stay at the hotel. I'm gonna share this with the world now because I feel like it needs to be known. A lot of time I'm here for my flight. Jamaica national team not pay we. Just man I turn up the game and the woman shirt them print off him wear. Me cannot put my best foot forward every time and then all me get is disrespect. Not showing up for me at all. Like people just treating you like shit. So it's just a lot to deal with, bro. I want to let people know I'm actually giving the national team a break.
what an interview, bro. What an interview. So
Quality
we have 5 points.
interviewers per usual.
Yeah, bro. So we have 5 points. And which one you want to start off with? I think we're going to start off with this one. So I think this is one that will have a lot of people talking and was the main highlight, apart from the fact that he said he's taking a break. But yeah, he said he felt disrespected by Coach Al Grimson. Thoughts, bro?
I mean, I think there's certain parts of the way he did the interview that was clearly to put a point across to the JFF, not only the coach. I think he was sending a lot of messages to the JFF actually. And yeah, he was talking about how him and coach were in talks all the time, coach calling him for every little thing, and then it moves to the point of he gets one call. And I don't know if you can put in the message that Sir Butler said, but it just seems like the communication fell apart. And I think one thing I noticed overall is that it doesn't seem like Leon is getting any grace. And I think that should be a part of keeping any person that you deal with and work with, you need to give them grace. So yeah, bro, your thoughts?
Yeah, bro. As relates to the coach from before this interview dropped, I kind of did feel that it was justified. And I still do think that it's justified. But as Leon said, like the suspension, but as Leon said, I think it's just the way how it was done, right? One could say, like, from Leon's perspective, he's saying, yes, I did wrong. But at the end of the day, I do a whole lot of things for this country. I do a whole lot of extra work. I do a whole lot. So if I wanted to do this one, you could at least cut me some slack. That's what I'm getting from what he's saying. He did accept that what he did was wrong. He did accept the punishment for what he did, but it's the way how the punishment was brought upon him that he is angry with. So, yeah.
And I think on top of that as well, like I the way he came across is that he already had a plan in his head. And one thing that he did mention is that people commonly on the last day, because you're at this hotel, they want to go back to their houses and be with their family and things like that. So he was saying that he didn't fully double down, but he said that it's common for players to do that. So I don't know if he's trying to say that this was like a one-time thing where somebody's getting punished. Because as he kind of spoke about, he doesn't see much consistency in and across the team. Yeah, bro, I found that to be a little bit disappointing because I think the only way that we're going to, we'll have our easy run to the World Cup as he spoke about. So, but the only way we're going to get to the World Cup is through communication and through being a body. So, yeah.
Yeah, bro. So let's head right into the next point then. And that's basically he was saying the national team is not picking the right players. So the first thing that he made mention of was the fact that the team selection is based off, and I don't think he was talking about the national team because he was talking more about his personal story and coming up. So I think he was talking more about the youth side, right? And basically he was just calling out Rudolph Speed because he made mention of like the fact that people He didn't call a name, but everyone knows that it's Rudolph Speed from Cavaliers. Because people talk in Jamaica's diaspora know that Cavaliers are the people who normally do that. So Rudolph Speed would normally take his Cavalier players, bring them into the national setup when he was a part of it, and he would always try to pave the way for them because if they get the exposure, then Cavaliers will get money from it because the exposure will bring scouts and scouts will want to buy their players, right? So me personally, when I was seeing that, I was like, bro, this guy's literally just taking a dig at Speed, which I liked because anyone who knows me or even knows Nandes, big up when you watch this, we don't like Rudolph Speed. You see me? So yeah, bro. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I think so. Like, I'm trying to be kind of careful about how I talk about this still because I know that if anybody from the JFF is watching, we really want to be in and around the setup, so that we can bring our impact across Jamaica. But no, it was about 12 minutes in what you're talking about. He was basically saying that I think he's selfless. I don't also love when people say they're humble. I don't think you can say that you're humble. I think something is wrong with that, but I think that's a whole other discussion. Um, but I think I love how he spoke about youth. I love how he spoke about what Craig Butler is doing. I love how he spoke about his kids. And it seemed very genuine. I don't question that. So I don't really worry about that too much. But he also mentioned the fact that he knew some assistant coach to push him through to get into the under 21 team. So then Jay Kirkley asked him, like, so you don't think that you benefit? And then he corrected him and said, or clarified rather, and was just like, yo, it's not that. The concern is you should just pick people based off their merit.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I think Leon is very smart. I think his points came across well. I think there are certain things, if Unai, good evening, saw, he would be like, you can't say that. But now, bro, the way he talks about youth and the way he talks about his relationship with Whisper and just helping people, I was just very proud of that as a Jamaican myself.
And also, staying on this point before we move on, he also talked about the fact that he's constantly seeing new faces in the national setup. You mentioned before we started recording that doesn't have to be a bad thing, but for me, if you're in a national setup, you need some form of familiarity because you don't have a lot of time to train, and whenever you do have that time, it's way better and way easier to build a chemistry if you're seeing more than often you're seeing similar faces, right? If every time you go on a national camp, you're seeing new faces, that's a whole new player you have to learn and a whole new way of adapting to playing, right? So he also made mention of that, and he also made mention of the fact that it might be the reason why the next point that we're going into, like sometimes he just, or most times he doesn't perform for Jamaica. So he gave a lot of reasons as to why he's not performing for Jamaica the way how he is performing for Aston Villa. So thoughts on that, bro?
I think one thing that we should address is that the fact that he spoke about the divide in the dressing room, which is pointing to our recruitment. He was just like, you have the man them that don't really speak Pata like that, and then he was like, you have the man them that are real Jamaicans, and it kind of shows the issue that we're having, and we've had for like since me and you born really. Like, he was talking about this divide in the dressing room, and then he was talking about training. He was critiquing the coach, and talking about the fact that when he comes, he has to put so much effort and his energy is drained because we're not professional. So it's just like all of these component factors. Like, he talked about the pitch, that the ball will bubble up. Like, if anybody has gone to a event at either Sabina or the National Stadium, you know how crazy it is. They don't even cover the field, right? So, and they're putting like posts in the field. So, yeah, all of his points were just true, and those are the reasons that he really stated. And I think it's legitimate. Like, you can't be playing in like no dust bowl like we had at Arden as a big professional player. Like, something wrong with that.
Yeah,
So that's
it definitely affects his game. He also talked about extra responsibility on his shoulders when he gets into national camp. And it's not only on a football aspect. So it's not like the extra responsibility is like, hey, I need to be a leader for these guys or for the new folks. Extra responsibility that he's talking about is like having to make sure that the staff members are doing well. Based on how he was talking, is like maybe Emmanuel beg him a thing every time him come and him can't say no. I'm a Leon Bailey. You see me? So certain things like that. Just think about it. He make him talk about England as well. When the England players in forward and you see the little clip they are coming with the player them are forward, bro. Come on, dog. Nobody in England's camp at all now go ask all of Declan Rice for 1,000 quid or nothing like that. You see me, bro? So the professionalism generally it just not there, dog. But again, it's not only Jamaica this happen, man. I'm pretty sure, especially the African countries, no disrespect, but Thomas Partey, kudos. Iwobi, Oshimen, the whole of them have forgot you that African pitches are shit. African pitches are poor. You see me? So it's kind of like the same thing like in the Caribbean, and guess what? Them get it over with them keep it rolling. You see me? And I'm pretty sure some of the economies in Africa are worse than here in Jamaica. So I'm pretty sure unprofessionalism is kind of the same. Look how much time we hear about unprofessionalism with Thomas Partey when him go. But guess what? I'm have to just keep it rolling. You see me, bro? So I'm not going to completely take him off of the hook for that, but I kind of get to where I come from, especially when it comes to the playing aspect, like the pitch, the chemistry, new faces all the time. Them good thing, bro. You see me?
I think when you talk about that, you also have to talk about his identity as a player, because his path to success was not easy, and I think that's what he's trying to say is that he makes that statement over and over: Jamaica can't do nothing for me. We shouldn't have players that feel like that. If you get what I mean, like, I don't think Thomas Partey would come out and say, "Yo,
exactly,
Ghana never do nothing for me yet." Like, so I think it's more of a structural issue that he's pointing to, and he's really talking about results-based analysis, which is something that we'll go into at some point. But he's looking at all the factors. He says it's crazy. You're training for 1 hour. This is not five-a-side football league. Like, what you mean you're training for 1 hour 2 days before? Like, I don't know. It just sounds, and I believe what he's saying because it doesn't really sound like he sounds like he has no problems with the staff. He sounds like he has a problem with the coaching and the presidents. So yeah, bro, him don't want much.
Yeah. And we have 2 more points to cover, so we're gonna go on a nicer basis right now. We also talked about the new contract that he just signed with Aston Villa and his life there. So he made mention of Moussa Diaby, the fact that a lot of players when Moussa Diaby was coming, or not a lot of players, a lot of fans were saying Diaby will come take him game, or he might struggle with Diaby there, or him don't like Diaby. And in this interview, Leon Bailey just made rid of all of those accusations. He's saying he actually told the coach to go ahead and get him. He and him are very close friends. And he also said that he does not feel threatened at all by any player, much less Moussa Diaby as it relates to competition in the team, because they play in a whole lot of different positions and he's very confident in himself. So that was good. Your thoughts?
Oh, I think when he was talking about Aston Villa, it was nice to see a smile on his face. I really like the setup at Aston Villa. I mean, you guys can go over to the other side of Gunnaz to kind of hear our opinions about Aston Villa. But no, it was on a good note. Like, he left the door open for certain moves, which I think is completely fine. Not that I think Mikel would be watching this interview, but yeah, I loved how he spoke about Diaby. It was a class act. He shut down a certain mentality and a certain way that people look at him. It was just like, and the quote that I love from him is where he was like, "I've never thought that I'm going to be dropped. I've never thought my game is in jeopardy," and that is mentality, bro. So yeah, I mean, the way he spoke about Villa, the contract, left the door open. Just very well said, and I appreciate it a lot.
All right. We didn't want to keep this video very negative, so we have to shed some light on the positive aspects of his interview. So we'll wrap up the video by talking about the breaking news out of that interview, that he is taking a break from the international setup. So what does this mean for the near future of Jamaican football? After these fixtures that he already isn't going to be playing in, we'll have the qualifiers, and then in the summer we'll have Copa America. So do you think he'll miss out any qualifiers games, or do you think he's just talking right now?
I don't know. I really couldn't catch an energy from him. Going back to Aston Villa, when he spoke about the title, I found that hilarious. But he was just like, bro, like, what are you saying? But anyways, that's life of an Arsenal fan. No, I mean, based off of his talking, if we win that game, I see him coming back. If we win the game and we get to the final, I see a chance.
I did see a chance, as you guys can go and check out the video I posted before about Bailey Caramarchi and Antonio missing the game. But I left the window open before this interview for Bailey to come back. But after this, no way. No way. In this window, things have to go breeze off, and the steam, the man they have to go blow off some steam first, and then afterwards. But feel him now going to miss a qualifiers game. Bailey not missing a qualifiers game. Me, I telling you that right now. Him not missing a quality after so much months pass, and them brain, no dog. Them not Bailey not missing.
Yeah, what does that say about the JFF though?
Bro, them been on. I don't
know what the fallout for this will be. Guys, comment below what you think the fallout will be, but I think we need more information. Like, I can't, like, whereas I get where you're coming from, I just don't know. I don't know if this was like fix up on yourself, like a little bit of a threat. Like exposing certain things. But I just don't know where the door for him goes. Like, I think this will disrupt the dressing room.
Of course, because the players, at first, I thought that it was the players who was pushing it. Like, you need to be more disciplined. I agree. But no, we are get to realize that the coach, and based on what another trusted source that I have, I'm not going to mention a name, told me, the players want to win this game for Bailey. So that would suggest to me that I never them put him out. You see me, bro? So Bailey has a lot of pull in this dressing room. I can tell that for sure. He is the main reason why a lot of these England-based players are coming here. Him, Ethan Pinnock as well, but especially him. Is even the likes of Antonio, Damari Gray, because Damari Gray was at Everton before, and possibly Greenwood. You see me? So he has pull in this dressing room, bro,
and he has mentality. I think that's the number one thing I realized. He has mentality. I think as a Jamaican fan base, we have to give the man some grace. He's clearly dealing with a lot. He has dealt with a lot for his whole life. And this constant fight out. Like, I used to tell you that, I don't really, like, I rate him, but I never really watched him at Leverkusen. I'm not going to pretend like I watched him at Leverkusen. I really just started taking in how him play at Villa and what Emery has done with him. And yeah, he's a decent baller still. And just hearing this convinces me even more that he has the mentality to be a future captain of the Reggae Boyz one day. So yeah, bro, I think he has a bright future. How old is he again?
Around 24.
Wow.
Man, him and Havertz are around same age.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, it's only up from here, hopefully. Hopefully we can get some equipment and the field can fix. But yeah, we'll really see.
Yeah, bro. And I think we'll end it right there. So that was our review to the Let's Be Honest podcast featuring Jeffrey. Big up yourself, Jeffrey, if you ever come across this. And Leon Bailey. So yeah, that's it. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. If you reach this far in the video, follow us at 876 Gunnaz on Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to support us monetarily, you can do so by buying us a coffee. The link is below in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Big up Gunnaz podcast.
The Gunnaz Podcast.